Hey, this is S. Patrick Brooks from the Heavy Underground Farm Report. Today we have an interview with a band that's playing at the Grand Rapids Doomfest, Jason Doom show this weekend. Today we have an interview with Chokesetter. Yeah! Hey everybody, this is S. Patrick Brooks from the Heavy Underground Farm Report. Today I have Steve, the guitar player from Chokesetter. We're super happy to have him today. Chokesetter is providing support, direct support for Bonehawk this weekend at the Grand Rapids Doomfest. We're really excited to get a chance to talk to Steve about his band and about the Doomfest. So Steve, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it, buddy, especially on such short notice. Thank you very much.
Hey, man. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
I apologize for the delay earlier.
No worries, man. That's just rock and roll, bud. It's all good, man. Yeah. Hey, man. So tell me, I interviewed Jason the other day, and he's super excited about this whole thing going on. So tell me, how did you guys get involved in the Grand Rapids Doomfest?
So I think Jason met Jesse, and kind of went from there. We played Barn Rocker in Pontiac, Illinois. What was it? A week or two ago, and Jason was there, which I think Jason's from Grand Rapids, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Yep.
So I was kind of perplexed to see him there. I was like, "You're kind of far from home, further away from home than we were." But got to hang out with him that weekend, and just a good guy, man, and I think Jesse hooked up with him the year before, maybe the year before that. So I think that's how he had seen us. And
so did he just ask you guys if you were interested in playing the show?
Yes. And it was a resounding fuck yeah, because he was on top of his game. Jason, for those who didn't watch the previous interview with Jason, this is his first show. And
yeah. It's
Jason's
impressive.
Good people, man, and I wish him all the luck, man. And he has put together and I don't take any credit when I say this, but he's put it together a pretty good lineup for his first outing, and I hope it goes over great. I'm expecting
it's absolutely. It's incredible. You guys I really like your band. I'm familiar with Busby Death Chair, Warhand and Bog Wizard I'm learning about, but Bonehawk, we all know about Bonehawk.
We actually played with Bonehawk a month or two ago at Burnham Brewery. I hope I'm saying that's the right brewery, in Michigan City. And just the turnout wasn't great, but man, great fucking band. Those guys, really good.
And so they also were just asked to join the show basically by Jason. So and they graciously agreed to do it. I think it doesn't really happen in a lot of other musical genres. So, I mean, the word of mouth and the personal relationships are pretty important in this genre, don't you think?
Yeah, it's very word of mouth. I wasn't terribly familiar with Bonehawk, but Larry, our drummer, was, and talked to whoever at the brewery and got us on that show, and it was like, talked them up pretty big, and they didn't disappoint, So I think Jason's got a little propaganda on his side. I mean, he's got this is the Doom Fest, it sounds, impressive. So he made it such, he put it into the universe, and it happened for him,
He's really, he's a really, I'm sorry to interrupt. He's a really dynamic personality. And I remember when he started talking about putting this together, I just thought that was the most impressive thing. So a lot of, there's a lot of do-it-yourself on this, in the scene. Do you think, are you guys attracted to that aspect of the scene? Is that important to you? Do you wish it was different? Are you happy with that fans have access to you and that?
Oh, absolutely, man. Not to name check it again, but Barn Rocker is this completely organic thing Austin Bam puts on, and he's a fan. He's also in a band, and that's how we played it 2 years. Jesse's been there 3 years, so he went the let's see, this year was 5, so he went the second year, or we went the third year. We played the fourth
Okay.
year and the fifth year. So I mean, that's completely organic, like you're talking about, and it was just the fans having access, and
Yeah.
it's a very tight knit kind of scene with all the bands. Like we played with Bonehawk the one time, and now we're you know buddies, and playing on another
That's
show
cool.
together, and hopefully more in the future, and as
Yeah, I
well
think
as the rest of the bands. Like I'm looking forward to making those connections with all the other bands that are going to be on this, and
so.
working into their markets, having them come to come to
Right.
South Bend, Mishawaka, and
You guys are situated in a really interesting part of the country. It's heavily populated. You have Chicago right there, Indianapolis, and Detroit's
mm-hmm.
close as well. And Grand Rapids is kind of in the middle of a lot of that. Do you think there's like a regional pride, or like do you guys? Is there? I mean, there's a lot of classic rock bands that come from that area too. I
Yeah,
mean, that seems to be like. I mean, when I think of like the rockin' parts of the United States, I mean, your region comes right to mind.
absolutely. I mean, we've had quite a few bands come from like Niles, and obviously Chicago. The funniest thing to me is, like, so we're from South Bend, we're an Indiana band. Um, we play in Chicago, which is in another state, Illinois,
Okay.
more than, and we've been trying to break into Indianapolis. We were just talking about that at rehearsal today,
Interesting.
and it's like there's so few bars as far as like original music, but there's a couple of real key ones, and we're like keep trying to like get in there and like we're from Indiana when we play Indiana less than any other state, which
That's
is
that,
but it is what it is.
yeah, that's interesting. So I talked to Colin Peterson from a band Shadow of Jupiter, and he's from Chicago, and we talked about that scene and how there's just like a show almost every night, and
Yeah,
it's great. So it's interesting to me how different cities like treat live music. So that's interesting. That's I mean, because I would think South Bend, you're a college town. I would think there'd be lots of. Do you think that the kids in South Bend that are going to school, are they interested in the kind of music that you're playing?
dude, it is. You would think so. I grew up like going back and forth to Kalamazoo, which is exactly the type of scene you're talking about. South Bend couldn't be more different. Like Notre Dame
Okay.
is so insulated from anything going on, and it's great to
Okay.
have it here. I love, I'm a fan, and I go to the
Yeah.
games
Yeah.
and whatnot. But as far as like what you would think of a college town, it does not spill
It's
out.
not Boulder, Colorado, or
No,
Berkeley,
no, no,
California. Okay.
no,
Or
not at all.
or or like you said, Kalamazoo. So,
Yeah, unfortunately, but I mean, I grew up, like I said, going back and forth to Kalamazoo. I love Kalamazoo. I would love to have a scene like that. It doesn't
it's
happen.
like it's is so to supplement that where you live, you guys obviously play a lot of shows. Are you guys playing out a lot? Are there opportunities in that region though for you to play as frequently as you'd like to?
We try to keep South Bend to, um, I want to say we've talked about doing like every 6 months, just because we don't want to burn out our fan
Yeah.
base. We have a lot of loyal fans here, but we don't want to be the band that plays once a month, or once every two
Right.
weeks, where
Yeah.
the fan base goes, "Hey, hey, you going to the Chokesetter show? Now they're going to play next
Yeah. You
month.
can
I'll
see
just
them
go then."
anytime, right?
So we
Yeah.
kind of try to build up, the what do you want to say, the anticipation, so
Yeah.
that when
Sure.
we
Yeah.
actually do a show around here, it's a bigger event. And obviously we're going to Grand Rapids,
You guys are really popular.
Chicago.
Yeah, you guys are really popular in that region. I've been doing some research today and going through the shows that you play and the people that you've played with. And so I guess that leads me to my next question. You guys recorded in 2020. Have you guys considered doing some more recording? Are you guys writing new music and performing new music despite
We
not having something
absolutely
new?
that you've touched a nerve, like that. So
Sorry.
we are absolutely, we've been working on new music for so long, but I think the problem we run into is we kind of shut down for the winter a little bit, but
sure,
we're constantly working on new music, but we get show offers where we just don't say no, so that kind of hinders us in the writing process. But we literally have we've got, I want to say, three recorded, three getting ready to be recorded, and probably 15 more in process. And I'm probably the biggest pain in the ass to my band members as far as like, come on guys, let's fucking knock this out. And as first and foremost, as a music fan, I'm like, if I was a lover of a band, I want new music. And the inherent flaw you run into is, okay, we write stuff like Grand Rapids Doomfest. We will be debuting a new song called Hard
awesome.
Way, and we'll be playing two newer ones called Saturn and Lumberjack that'll be on the new album.
Excellent.
We've played a couple times before, but we'll be playing three new songs within our set. But it's just getting the time. Everybody works full time.
Sure, man. I get that.
Getting together. I mean, and everybody's working on music outside of this, but it's just getting in the same room, putting stuff together.
Do you guys have like a studio that's accessible to you in South Bend, or do you have to travel out of town to record?
So we've got, what we do is, or what we've done recently is, we have a studio. Chris Scheiko has the remnants of what was Miami Street Studios, which the room there in South Bend was designed by the same guy who designed Sony Studios in New York. So it's an excellent room. He doesn't have access to it anymore. He got a divorce, that goes, but he's got all the same equipment. So we go and we track drums with Chris, and then Dustin Taberski, our bass player, is a first-class engineer. So he is tracking everything other than the drums. So
excellent.
It's a little bit of a money saver, and it's excellent to have Dustin on board, regardless of that benefit. But
awesome. Well, I think I speak for a lot of your fans. I mean, I'm pretty new to your band, but I already want to hear more of your band. So when I was listening to what you do have out there, it was pretty diverse in style. I mean, it's all very what I would consider that stoner rock, doomy, thing that we all love. The heavy bottom end, and it sounds great. You guys are really comfortable moving from like Bela Lugosi, for example, kind of gave me like an Aerosmith vibe a little bit, and then like the Barn Burner songs, like a country kind of thing, like a country rock thing going there, and then World Eaters, super doomy, and then what was really surprising to me was Artemis Interlude, which is soft and beautiful, and not what I expected to hear on the album, but came at a perfect part of the mix, and really I thought set up the last part of it. So are you guys? I mean, what like I would have difficulty, I guess, generalizing what kind of music do you play. How do you guys describe yourself?
I feel like we get pigeonholed with stoner rock, which nobody has any problem with. I'm not saying
but it's really doesn't really mean anything. So
no, but the funny thing. So I want to kind of, first and foremost, if you think this album's diverse, wait for the next one.
Excellent. Okay, cool. I think that's the strength.
But the funny, like, I love that you picked up on the interlude, because we're all old school guys where the track listing, like, I don't give a fuck about how the streaming industry works. Obviously, we've got to bow to that to a certain extent, but we're very much old school guys where it's like the track list means everything, and that the Artemis Interlude was side A to side B, and I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah,
because we really put a lot of thought into that type of stuff,
Well, man, I'm not the youngest guy listening to this music, and I like appreciate that, like Led Zeppelin is kind of, we can go super heavy and then we can softly move into the next idea. And I thought your album did a great job of that. So awesome. Well, hey man, so there was one other thing that I thought was super fascinating. So I saw Truck Fighters when I was in Ripple Fest a couple of weeks ago, and I freaking love their set. And then I was going through your guys' Facebook page, and I noticed there's a picture of someone in Truck Fighters wearing your shirt. So you guys opened for Truck Fighters, right?
Yeah, dude. And that
tell me a little bit about that and how you must have felt to see them wearing your shirt. That's a pretty stellar compliment. So,
man,
if you just want to talk about that.
We've been really fortunate in everything we've done, like from the first show where we hit the stage in 2018, there was an immediate reaction, and it's all kind of went uphill from there. And we've got to play with some of our heroes, and Truck Fighters is way up there. We've played with Crowbar, 1,000 Mods. Fuck, man, I'm drawing a blank right now because I'm on the spot, but
no, that's cool, man. Anybody can look up your history. You guys, Len, like I said when I was going through it, the list of shows and bands that you have played with is very impressive.
But the thing of it is, I everybody's pretty humble, myself included. We're just very fortunate to be able to play with the bands we have, like 1,000 Mods. I was like, one of my other favorite bands was on that bill, Valley of the Sun, and Wizard, our buddies from Montana. And I was like, I've got to see one of these shows. And we ended up getting 3 dates on that tour. It was like, what the fuck is happening right now? And then the Truck Fighter show, I was like, those guys, it was funny because we were going to the show and I was looking through my Facebook memories, and the guitar player had been on my podcast.
Oh, cool.
Was it 4 years prior? It was like we saw Truck Fighters in Chicago right before everything shut down in 2020, and I got to talk to them, and it was just like, it's surreal. It really is, because like I love a lot of the bands we play with, and it's ridiculous. And I forget the original question you asked, but
Steve, that's okay, because you definitely answered it. That and I think a lot of us feel that way, and not just the bands, but from the fan aspect of where I'm coming from too. The access to these guys who are like, I mean, I love this music, and so you guys are, the bands, you guys are my heroes, and I love to listen to you, and the opportunity to not just get to do this kind of stuff, but be at a show and just like go up to the merch table and say, like, you guys, fuck, your set was badass, and they're like, and people are like, well, thank you for coming, and it's very a gracious exchange between the bands and the fans and the scene, and it's definitely one of the things that I absolutely love about it, and it's cool to hear it from your perspective as well. So that's awesome. Yeah. So that I know that had to be a moment for you when you saw that picture and they're wearing your shirt. So
yeah, and Bishop from Crowbot, it was fun. We played with those guys, all great guys, man. I tell you what, I don't know how much time I'll try to keep this brief, but
no, you're good. You're fine. Go ahead.
I've got to give these guys a shout out, because they've kind of become buddies, but the way they did, we opened at Pierre's in Fort Wayne, which is like an hour or two from us. For those guys,
you're talking about Bonehawk, right?
No, Crowbot. Sorry.
I'm sorry, my bad.
So Crowbot, we opened for them quite a few years, probably 2-3 years ago in Fort Wayne. And it was funny because we played our set, and then usually it's Jesse runs over and mans the merch table, but I was closer, so there was a line right after we got done, and I stopped putting my gear away, and I ran over there, and I started selling shirts, and sell a shirt to this guy, and Jesse comes over a few minutes later. He goes, "You just sold a shirt to the guitar player from Crowbot." And I was like, I didn't know what he looked like, I mean, obviously I do now, sure. But, and then like we get pictures a month later where he's wearing our shirt on stage, and it's like, what the fuck is going on, man? But the one thing that I wanted to say about those guys is, I don't know, and I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but the promotion for that show might have not been what it should have been. So it was like this giant venue, and there might have been 100 people in there, which looked like 5. And those guys came out with all 4 of us standing front row and just mouth agape, watching them just put on a seminar as far as like, this is how you do it. No matter how many people are there, you put on the full show and give it your all. And that was like, you know, how to do it 101. And
that's a great story.
Fantastic, man.
You know, I think promotion is tough. Live shows are difficult right now. I'm hoping shows like yours are going to bring this Doomfest that you guys are playing. Or once again, you're playing with Bonehawk, Busby Death Chair, Bog Wizard, Clean, and Warhand, and your Chokesetter. I'm hoping this kind of show, Steve, is what brings people, you know, back. You know, maybe slowly but surely. But you know, like I went and saw High on Fire and Cobranoid last night to a very impressive crowd on a Wednesday night in Denver. So there's always hope. And, you know, I always appreciate the bands on the scene, like give it 100%, whether there's 1,000 people or 100 people or 10 people. Yeah. You know that like when you lay down your ridiculous $15 or $20 or whatever it is, you know, a ridiculous cheap price for entertainment of this caliber, that you're going to get like way, way more than your money's worth, man. Steve, is there anything else you wanted to like talk about? Like super excited about your show. I'm super excited about the prospect of you guys putting out some new music. If you're not listening to Chokesetter out there, you really need to get on Spotify, find them on Bandcamp, support bands. So if you like it on Spotify, follow them, man. Follows are good for bands on Spotify, and then go buy their stuff on Bandcamp. You know, there's nothing like direct financial support. So, Steve, anything else for you, bud?
Man, just I hope, you know, this show is going to be a success. I hope we get to do it once, twice a year. I think Jason has some big fucking balls, and he's a good dude. And I raised a drink to him because that fucking cat, you know, decided, hey,
absolutely,
I'm going to put on a show, and he did it, man. I hope it's a huge success, and we get to do it once a year and make it a much bigger thing, you know.
Well, right on, man. Well, Steve, if you guys do it next year, I'm going to do everything I can to make it up there for that show. I would love to see a show in your neck of the woods.
I don't know.
Man, I'm in Denver, Colorado. I'm in Denver, Colorado.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah, so we have a nice scene here. You know, we have some great bands here too. But, you know, we definitely recognize that there's amazing, heavy underground music happening all over. And you're definitely in a hot spot, buddy.
We were actually, we toured last March, and I think we were trying to find a stop in Denver. So we'll have to hit you up and see what the clubs are out there.
Definitely let me know. If whatever I can do to help you guys, I would love to have you out here. I'm involved in the local scene, so we could definitely get you in touch with the right people. So
awesome. Much appreciated.
Yeah, Steve. Well, man, I appreciate your time, buddy. I hope you guys kick ass this weekend. I'm going to follow up with Jason after the Doomfest, and then we will definitely be looking for new stuff from Chokesetter. If you guys need anything from me, or you guys have something new coming up, let me know, and we'll make sure that people know about it.
Awesome, man. You'll be the first to know.
Hey, buddy. Hang on one second. I'm going to stop recording. That is Steve from Chokesetter. Thank you again, bud. Hang on one sec, bud. Yeah!